Frontline Chat with Harry Tangye and Dave Wardell.
Hello. Nice to see you. Standard start to the programming. 13-year-old birthday. Did you get lots of birthday cake?
No, he did, mate. Yeah, he was very, very spoiled, weren't you, Finn?
That's lovely. That's lovely. I can see he has been spoiled because people should actually see this on your. This is doing funny things again.
Make sure people get their.
Has he recovered from his road trip that he did?
Yeah. Other than the fact he and I wish we were still on it. He had a great time and did lots of walking and stuff like that, and had some nice physio and stuff when he got back. But they were really pleased with him. So he's been at the field all morning.
I can't say he was looking very good on the beach. He was walking really really smoothly. I'll just bring it up now, actually. Here we go. Come on. That's all right. Here we go. So basically, mate, how's it been going? Generally, you've been busy?
Yeah, good. Yeah. This week has been Finn's birthday, and I
love this bit. Look! Watch your other dog going like a missile past him with a lead loose. I love that.
She is a little missile, bless
her.
her.
Go on, mate.
Yeah, so mostly Finn's birthday, really. It's incredible when any dog gets to 13, but with everything that Finn's been through, he's doing very well, bless him, to get to that age. So we treasure every moment, and he had a fantastic birthday, and he had a really posh sirloin steak, and
did he?
Yeah, of course he did. Lots of presents, and he's been thoroughly spoiled all week long. What about you?
Yeah, good. Spending a lot of time down in Newquay and things, and that's good. It's good, actually. My circumstances mean that I spend a lot of time with my mum, who is sort of 87, and as people know, she's looking all right, but she's struggling a bit with dementia and that side of things. But no, she's it's sort of having a relationship really that I'd never really had before, so it's quite good. And I've got Arthur with me last week, so we did a lot of about 12 miles in the woods with a student. Here's a lesson. I did Duke of Edinburgh award scheme, and she was a student that was never really eating enough for the expeditions. We were always saying you really need to eat more, and then she was almost getting hypothermia and just wasn't equipped physically to actually go on these hard walks sometimes. And we're thinking it's not, it's sort of dangerous to almost say. Anyway, she turned it around like that, and now she's actually leading groups for a college.
Oh, wow.
And she's phenomenal, and she's like head of the department, and she's 29 now. And I'm just remember her as a teenager thinking, why does she keep turning up? She just eats a couple of carrots and then wonders why she runs out of energy. You can't force feed them, but Jesus, we're walking her off the mountains a couple of times, to supervise her. So she was almost a liability, bless her heart. But God, she's quite the opposite now. It just shows, doesn't it, how people can just change and suddenly things click.
Yeah. I wonder what's in on the action.
Yeah. So. It's a nice little comment, Maria. Thank you. Out on walkies in sunny Welsh countryside, visiting Castle Ruins. Oh, so you're out and about now then. Enjoy your chat, folks. Oh, right. Okay. You'll be glad to hear no heckling today. Too busy finding oxygen in the climb of the hills.
She does live in a beautiful part of the country, bless her. And I see that Stephanie's in hospital. Hope you're feeling better soon, and we'll be home soon as well.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. That's bad news. But and I've also been sort of this is my usual place where I sort of hang around, as people can see in a minute. There we go. Yeah. So I mean, I can't wait to buy. I'm just selling my house at the moment, so can't wait to buy it. That's where I sort of live. And this was where I was just writing a few. I tried to do about 1,000 words a day for my new book. It's Cornish Scoop number 2. I don't know the title yet, but that's that. But Arthur was quite. see, he's not on his lead there because he's so docile. That dog has caused so many people to want to buy dogs. And then this couple were next to me in a bench, and he was on the phone, and they were obviously trying to get something done.
On the phone.
He was, and so yeah, no, he was on the typing, and then his wife, I presume, next to him, go, "Don't tell him that, George. Tell him that." "Oh, George, you're not telling him properly. Just tell him like that." And they were having this thing next to me, and then this poor old George finishes the phone trying to say, being diplomatic, "Well, yes, if you would do that, that would be." "No, don't ask him. Tell him." and then he said, "Oh, excuse me, is this your dog?" And I went, "Yeah." And little Arthur's looking really small next to him, and he goes, "Yes. Could you take him away, please?" I went, "Oh yeah, no problem." He was obviously got a bit scared of. Look at him. Yeah, he does look vicious.
He does look vicious. He's like a little miniature Rottweiler, isn't he? He does look. He looks terrifying. Bless him.
He probably thought, and I did Cornish radio, been Devon radio, and look, I've got an article coming up. They're interviewing me next week for the Cornish Life magazine. Proper posh one. So
wow,
like that. So yeah, proper Cornish, like, you know.
Very cool.
You did a show up in Halifax, didn't you? And that went well.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that went very well. Lovely crowd. A few cops in, and lots of other people. And I've never been to Halifax before, so it's a lovely place. And it went very well. Paul's a very funny chap. I've never seen him on stage before.
Brilliant. Did that go well? Did it? Because he is great.
Yeah.
Yes. He's the weary detective, isn't he? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So at Weary Detective, everyone follow him. He's great.
Got some very funny stories. In fact, he should write a book like yours, H, about characters. Maybe perhaps not naming them so that you can actually use them.
Do you know though? I think he has. He's got one on the ready. Yeah.
Oh yes, he spoke about that. Yes. So look out for Paul's book. He has got a book coming out. I'm sure if it's anything like the way he speaks, it'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
And I fooled people with an April Fool's to tell them that I was right, or I'd published a new book. I did get told off by people when I told them it was an April Fool's. That lots of people said, just get on and write the book number 2. So I must. And
you did raise. Have you? Here was the actual. Has the draw happened yet? Or
it happened last night. Finn raised just over £1,300. So it'll be £450 going to each of his 3 charities: Thin Blue Paw, German Shepherd Rescue Elite, and Dogs on the Street. So it was just a nice thing to do for his birthday, to see if we could get people to raise some money for his charities. That was lovely.
Yeah, that's good. And I ended up doing a Newquay gig 1st of April. So and managed to raise 400 quid for that. So pretty much almost the same thing. 400 quid for 2 Ukrainian families that some ex-cops are actually putting up here.
Oh, wow.
Really decent families, very, proud families, that people who were doing just what you and I were doing not so many weeks ago, shopping, doing their decorating and all that sort of thing, and trying to work their way up the ladder. And the next thing, their towns and cities are destroyed and they're in another country. It just shows how simple things can change. And so it was just to make sure that they were set up with, because their kids already got schools, so new school uniforms, clothes, and give them a little bit of independence when they get here, rather than having to rely totally. So that was a good nice thing that we did. Plans changed very quickly, so it was obviously made to charity on that one. It's all right. It's worked out all right. I tell you what, storms down in Newquay. I had to take this because I love going up to Newquay and when it's nighttime and the storms are coming through. It's been phenomenal there. Yeah, it has been. Has been
It's
lovely.
a very dramatic coast, isn't it? Anybody who hasn't been there, it's the Atlantic coast. So it's very dramatic anyway, and not often do you have days where it's really still and like a mill pond. Although when you do, even that's quite impressive. But yeah, when you get a storm down there, it really is quite something, isn't it?
Oh, I just love the elements. People say, if you're looking out the window, it's lovely. It is, but if you're in it and you're dry and you're warm and you're walking, I mean, I just go up to Porth Island and things. It's just, you're very exposed, and it's like the M1 up there. There's so many people go up there, and I remember 20 years ago, you get 2 or 3 people in the afternoon go up. Now it's a constant flow. And my mum is in her bed and she's looking out the window. It's the most stunning view, unbelievable view of, and she see all the people go up the island. And I said, I'm going to really curse you when I'm 87, Mum, because I know I'm going to be in my bed staring at a fire escape. That's true.
I'll come and visit you, Harry.
Will you come and visit me?
Yeah, I'll be an old bugger as well.
Yeah, I'll be grumbling, saying how good it was in the old days. It was bloody. It's not like it was. Bloody youngsters today, the police. It's the job's effed, But yeah, that was good. And then I just came across. Let's see. I see Cresta the Dick had left. She's left.
Yeah.
I thought it was really. It's funny, isn't it? Because you've got this one thing that is very much on the news about, very much saying about how unpopular and a bad job. And this was because being the firearms officer, being operational firearms commander and firearms tax supervisor, I know exactly about the certain case that occurred where she was criticised. And all I could see from the information she had, it was incredible leadership and bravery. And so it's sad that the whole incident was a horrendous situation where obviously somebody got shot when they shouldn't have. But the information the bombs were going off the previous week and they just caught someone. So it was, and I know it was just basically on specific information intelligence that she had to believe. She couldn't just ignore it. Otherwise, the end results could have been even more devastating with numerous amounts of people injured and killed. So this was nice to see. This was her last day being seen off. And that was lovely because she was also, I mean, I know that we had John Sutherland on. He knew her. And when he was suffering from his mental health situation, she personally visited him when she was a commander. Actually cares about people, very much cares about people, not position, not money. And it's a shame that some of her critics are left behind. But anyway, that's me saying that, not you.
You talk about money, but I think she even forfeited some of her pension in order to become the boss of the Met. So it really wasn't about money for her. It was about trying to make a change. And like you say, the people that know her and worked for her seem to be genuinely sorry that she's gone.
Yeah,
because she did try and make change. Now obviously it's a massive beast, the Met, and so change is going to take a while. There clearly is.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you can change it when you've got anything. It's a bit like having 2 bosses with different ideas, because you've got a Conservative Home Secretary and you've got a Labour Mayor who's the equivalent of a PCC. So when those two are arguing, you're sort of in the middle. And then my criticism of that side of things is because the Met are looked upon by everyone, and some people abroad might think the Met is the only police force in the whole of the country, because it is the English police force, isn't it? Or the British police force. Because Wales as well is police forces. So and so with the eyes on them, I think there's a few that it's become too political, and it really needs to come back. Can we just get policing more independent again, like the other forces?
I mean, I can't imagine Crest is just going to be quiet. I'd imagine she'll have things to do. But I wonder if she woke up the next day and went, "Thank goodness for that."
Oh my God! I bet she said, "Thank goodness for that." Exactly like that.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
Claire met her a few times.
Yeah, a few people have. Andrew said he met her, and they all said that she was a good cop. So, yeah, onwards and upwards, Cressida, onwards and upwards.
Exactly. No, she can hold her head up high. That is for certain. I'm just been, generally. Let me have a look at things going on. It's been Monday. I'm going to be going down. Oh yeah, this was the photograph of my event, which was good. Thanks to John Goodman, who was absolute star with his support on the night and things, and Ian. So Ian Adams there is really helpful with with everything, supportive, and he actually paid a donation, trying to keep it quiet for me, but yeah, he's a very modest, smart guy for the things like the posters and leaflets, and so all the ticket money could go to charity thanks to him. So it's good. And John Goodman there is an old schoolmate of mine as well. So that was it was fun. It was fun evening had by all.
In a good for a good cause too.
Yeah, it was. It was very nerve-wracking going on my own, I must admit.
Was it?
Expecting other people. Yeah. It was on that one because I'm not used to people paying money and things to see when it's just me up there, you know. And this one was quite an interesting thing. So this was a man who deliberately injured a police officer by knocking him off his motorcycle has been jailed for 3 years, age 23, sentenced today. Well, this was the incident. Sorry, IT is working a little bit slow today. There we go. So this was how exposed motorcyclists are. Most forces, motorcyclists can't get involved in pursuits because this is it. But this wasn't a pursuit. This was a standard stop check. Blue lights, car should pull over, and you'll see what the actual car did. So that was the introduction to it, but you'll get the lead up to it now. Excuse me, coughing. So there's a car in front. He wants to stop.
Yeah.
Brakes quite heavily.
Tries to reverse at him.
He's skidding his tyres as he's reversing. Because I don't think you got sound on this. I purposely got it off.
No.
And now he's trying to get away from the car that's accelerating up behind him.
I mean, that's horrific.
And it's just really important to... Sometimes I think people forget when these people appear in court that they're quite nasty, horrible people. And they tend to like to see I'm sure he's a nice guy at home, Good. He got 3 years.
What else could his intent have been there other than to cause that cop really serious harm? Obviously I went to Halifax, and part of being on stage is to talk about some of Finn's journey, and I've only read my book once because it upsets me, but I thought I'd listen to it on Audible because there might be some stories that I can remind myself of and use them, and going through it, we got to the court case, and obviously I was there in the garden and I know what happened and I know what he did with that knife, and I think to myself, his intent with a knife, with the blade that was that big, aiming for obviously Finn's heart and my face and neck. There was only one intent there, and yet he never faced questions about that at all. Not at all. It was that cop.
I can't believe that.
The female cop.
Can't believe it.
Last week went to court because someone ran her over and dragged a nurse, ran her over and dragged her up the road, and she got 30 months. I mean, what was her intent? She was trying to get away because I think she had no insurance and was over the limit or something. Yeah. She drove at her and dragged her up the road. Now that wasn't to tickle her or to damage her uniform. That was serious.
I know, mate. I know. And it just doesn't seem to be taken very seriously, though, does it? That's the problem. These things are, I don't know what to say. I sort of given up looking for, justice.
Well, I did years ago. I stopped looking at court results years ago, and the reason I paid any attention to this one is because I was involved, and it was about Finn. because you'd never go out and do what you do. We've said this before, haven't we, Harry? You'd never go out and do what you do and put yourself in the danger you sometimes put yourself in if you looked at the court results that are handed out each week.
Well, we purposely never looked at the court results, but we would inevitably see them in the local paper or something if there was a result that was of major interest or whatever, and locally as such. So we never really knew. And I think basically I found, however good the job was, I'd already moved on the next day and I was on to the other stuff. And you just don't really do that, do you? If it's something you've been involved in as a civilian, and of course you'd be interested, but you sort of forget, Oh, Dave's gone. So anyway, there we go. Dave's struggling with his Wi-Fi, I think, unless maybe it's me. I don't know. So let's see. New personality. Yeah, nice. There's some nice people who tended to know her, met her, Cressida Dick, who have got lovely things to say about her, and they could tell a genuine person, can't you, when you meet them, or most of the time at least. sometimes you think someone's really lovely, and there's always and unfortunately I'm just going to turn the volume down on this because I've been very unprofessional, and then they turn out to be very different from what you thought. But there we go. This is life. You have to get through these things, and but I'm a great believer at some point you've got to trust people as well until they let you down. Right. Dave is obviously got bored and disappeared. What I do want to say at this point is this gentleman here, unfortunately, died, and he is what a sterling chap he was. Always Simon Cole, QPM, Chief Constable of Leicestershire Police, and just utmost respect to this guy because he was a decent chief. Again, another people person, and unfortunately, he's left us now, and so. Which is tragic. So, best wishes to his family and that side of things. Absolutely devastating. It's the unfortunate thing with Twitter, isn't it? Is every now and then it's like shock, horror, and it's Beth recently was somebody who struggled with her mental health, and I know she previously jumped off a bridge and was recovered by air ambulance, and she was so grateful to the air ambulance, but unfortunately, it was just too much for her to handle, and she died as well recently. So it was absolutely devastating because I think people got to know Beth really well, so yeah, really, really sad. Life can be a little bit shit sometimes, can't it? Oh, Andrew, yeah, okay. I worked with Simon too. It was 100% for the troops, an awesome cop. Yeah. And it's sort of these sorts of things sort of reminded me just to we all have worries and we all have things, and the important thing is just take charge of them now. I was reacting to a lot of stuff which was coming my way, and I was trying to avoid and duck it and weave, and now I've decided to grab it head on, and I'm going to deal with it once and for all. And you've got one life, go for it. You can only do what you can for the best, and then go for it. I've got a fresh start to my life. People are probably aware by now because of my hinting that I've got my dog for every other week, and I'm going down to Newquay 5 days a week. So I'm separating after 28 years. It's quite amicable as much as it can be, and I think both of us, my ex-wife to be and me, are determined to both have a cracking good rest of our lives, and hopefully be friends in the middle there somewhere. So that'd be good. The kids could do what they liked. We just needed to make sure the dog was shared properly. The kids were 22. They're all right, but the dog is the important one, Arthur. But the good thing is, I know how much Arthur enjoys being around my ex-wife to be. What point do you say ex-wife? And I know that she really enjoys knows that dog enjoys being down in Newquay with me. So. Mum is good. Mum's really settled down. She's got vascular dementia, which is she's just a sweetheart, really. No problems at all. Just needs help with everything. And like I say, yeah, thank you. But it's you get, I thought I'd naively go down there, and there's so many people have had dementia in their families and things, and I thought I'm naively going to go down there and thinking, well, I'll help with everything else, but all the personal stuff, I won't be getting involved in. Well, I think that ended in day 2. So, but she's genuinely very doesn't moan about anything. Is just grateful so much. She'll never turn down a cup of tea. And every time she gets a cup of tea, it's like it's Christmas, especially if I put a couple of Jaffa cakes in there. So it's good. Things could be worse, really. So going back, Jackie followed Beth and all that. So it's just really important to make the best of what we have, isn't it? And be good to each other as much as you can. But at some point, when someone's taken the mick, you've just got to say enough now. I know Dave's been really, really busy. I'm looking forward to meeting up with him later on in the summer. We've been invited to certain places and determined. Those things where people say to you, "Oh, we should do coffee sometime." I'm always like, "Yeah, sure. Wednesday, 4:00." Don't say that if you don't mean me to do that, because I will. I think it's just important to really just go out there and do stuff. That's the main thing. So I'm going to carry on doing my book. I am looking at some sort of stuff, potentially in the Hydra unit sort of thing with policing, because what I want to do is do freelance stuff so that I can dip in, dip out. So maybe I've got Crime Writers Conference coming up, got Women's Institute thing coming up. And so it's nice to go out and do the odds talk, a conference, or whatever that side of things. And then wouldn't mind getting into a little bit on the training side. So you just go in there for a couple of weeks and come out, or prepare stuff for Hydra, which is like, if you don't know what it is, it's like training. So you could have like a command team training of the police services, multi-agency stuff. They're all in a room, and the computers bring in certain scenarios, and they just need someone there to say, well, that wouldn't happen. You can't do that. So wouldn't, that sort of thing. So that sounds quite fun. I'm just trying to pick and choose things that I can do, which is fun. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
Nice to come back, old chap.
You know me and technology. I thought I'd come back for the last couple of days.
Yeah, thank you, mate. I thought, there was a chance that I was just speaking to myself and it was you who was online still, but I did wonder.
That is likely.
But I reckon we're going to meet up a couple of times in the future, aren't we? I think coming up, maybe in London. I haven't said any details because it's and that'd be nice.
I can't wait for that. I'm not going to say what it is, but I cannot wait.
No, nor can I, mate. And I'm so glad you can make that. So that's and also there's a certain guy who flies a Spitfire about that we need to visit his base as well, don't we?
What we need to try and do is try and do a live from that location, because I think people would be pretty impressed with everything that's there. So yes, we must do it. Have we got a date for that yet?
No, I tell you what, I might hassle. I suggest it's probably going to be the end of the summer, because there'll be they do these daily Spitfire. Oh, actually, this thing here I stuck on here. This is a series of photographs. I think it does it on Google. Mike Down did this for me. Basically, I've stuck it on things. So basically, my photographs of me and the Spitfire, with the comments taken from my dad, who was audibly speaking in the background. If you YouTube Harry Tangye Spitfire, Nigel Tangye, or something like that, you'll get my dad's voice as a Spitfire pilot over me in a Spitfire flight, being flown in it. So, and so actually, certain things he said in this, it was a radio interview. And he said in the Spitfire, because he was photo reconnaissance, so he's 42,000 feet without any compression help at all, just had a gas mask and no pressure cabin. And he said, yes, isolated. This great shock is that it's a violet skies, so you're literally in a world that you could never imagine ever being alone. He said, but you're very alone. He said, very alone. The isolation up there, these Spitfire pilots. So yeah, we like all that stuff, don't we?
We do, mate. We do. We cannot wait to do that. I think I'll just be like a giggly school child if we get anywhere near Spitfire.
Yeah, well, I try not to mention too many times that I actually had a flight in it, thanks to Chris Beer, who was a very good friend of mine up in Clumpton. So yeah,
Bugger.
So right, I think we're coming to the end here.
We're done. Yeah. Sorry,
It is
my
that sort of
technology
time.
gave out on me, but I had no children here to help me, so it took 8 times longer to log back in because I had no kids to help me.
Is that right?
A lovely weekend, Harry. I'm off all week, so I'm going to be
nice.
around with Finn and doing some bits, and the police dogs are here, so I might do some training and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to have a nice week.
Perfect. Enjoy, everyone.
And you.